Yo, we are back. We are back. Kingdom Ox, Kingdom Citizens. Thank you for watching. Remember, man, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all our platforms. Kingdom Ox on every social media platform. Today, we have a Christian R&B sensation, a rising star in Christian R&B and the Christian hip hop scene. We got my man Kennis.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Jeremiah? Thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Kingdom Ox, bro. You are my first Christian R&B artist on the platform, bro. So I'm excited. I'm excited that you are here. Thank you for doing it. And I am ecstatic, bro. I'm ecstatic about you, bro, and getting to learn more. I remember you came through to the Track Star show. And it was so dope having you there, man. We had so much fun on the show and platform. Sure. But today, it's your story. It's to tell your story, and we're gonna go on your journey. So, let's get it started, man. Growing up, man, how everything start, man. How everything start for you, bro?
Man, so a lot of people don't know I'm from. Well, you probably hear it in the accent, but I'm from New York. I was born and raised in Long Island, New York, in the town.
Strong Island.
Strong. Thank you.
Strong Island.
Starting the interview correctly. Strong Island. See, you don't know about Strong Island unless you're from New York. You know what I mean?
So, I'm from Jersey, so I'm from the tri-state. So I remember growing up, Long Island, Strong Island, people calling that. So yeah. So go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Even better. No. So born and raised. I grew up in a town called Roosevelt. So if you're from the area, you know about Roosevelt. Not the nicest town. You know, there's a lot of craziness going down. You know, by the grace of God, though, you know, I was able to, you know, make it out because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of people don't. You know, just because of the way life is. So but yeah, you know, when it came to music, man, I was always that kid that just loved music. You know, my dad had the speaker system in the house with the button that you click to with the glass. He would play artists from like Jodeci to LL Cool J to Run DMC. Public Enemy was a artist that we listened to a lot. Actually, I went to school with one of Flavor Flav's sons. Sons and daughters. Yeah, I went to middle school and high school with them. So that was pretty dope.
How was that like? How was that like talking about like? I know Flavor Flav was wilding at the time. So how was that like?
I can't speak on that. I will say that they were my homies. You know what I'm saying? They were my homies.
I get that. I just asked it like, how was it like his kids and like dealing with that fame? You know what I mean? That could be kind of nervous. You know.
Well, when I was young. So we were close in age. Shout out Will and Karen. But when I was young, I would see this guy at like the graduations and like you know, when I was in elementary school, pre-K, all that stuff, with this big clock around his neck. I'm like, I would look and just be like, who's this guy? But as I got older, I realized who he was, and I was like, oh, Public Enemy. So I put it together.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, I was always into music, man. I would sneak at one point, me and my sister and my brother, we would watch like the MTV music videos, BET videos. When my mom went food shopping, and we would just be enjoying all the optics, just like enjoying the music and everything. So at a young age, man, I was exposed to some really, really quality music like Usher, Drew Hill, Tyrese, Music Soul Child, all of it. And what I started to do was for Christmas, my parents, and this is actually pretty cool. I get to dive deep into this. My parents would always give me something musical. So like they would give me like a Walkman or like a radio. And I found ways to like rip music off of the radio. So I would take my cassette tape and I would jam the side. You know how to do it.
Yeah.
Put it in, hit record, and I would record shows. And like that's how I have my music. So I would put it on my Walkman, and I'll be able to listen to the songs I liked. Man, I would go into the magazines when they would have like the BMG 12 CDs for like 1 cent or something like that.
Oh, you got in trouble too.
I used to run it up. My mom will be like, how are you getting these albums? I'll just go in, I just check off all the artists that I want. And it was funny because on the business reply mail, it had this little box that said, bill me later. So I
Check
ain't not check. Bill me later. So I was always diving into music, man. In elementary school, I had like a rhyme book. I used to do. I used to actually rap first before I started singing. So I would have like, my little
dope.
rhyme book. I used to write
Okay.
my little rhymes up in there. When we would have assemblies at the school, they would ask me to come and like do like a little, little rap for the assembly.
Yeah.
And we ended up forming this group called the Eagles.
Okay.
I'm in
Okay. Even though
fourth.
the Eagles was another group, a white
I'm
group.
in. Bro, I'm in fourth grade with just a couple of my friends, and we had this group called the Eagles. And I
Okay.
remember we wrote this song about the varsity football team of our town, because it was like all state, all
Oh
county, like
wow.
they were
Wow.
winning
Dope.
championships. So they had an event at the school, and it was like, yo, we want you guys to write a cool little rhyme.
Yeah.
So I wrote a cool little rhyme, and from there, it was just like, it was exciting to like perform and like write songs and like put it
Yeah.
together. And then, I just really found a safe space there. A lot of things also would happen when I was younger. So
Yeah.
I didn't also understand it and be able to articulate how I felt emotionally about it. So I would just write it in a rhyme.
Yeah.
And that was a way to express how I felt. But there was this one year, my mom found my rhyme book because I kept it from her. She
Yeah.
wasn't, I kept it from her. I didn't want her to see and hear the
Yeah.
things I was talking about. And she didn't like what she heard in there or read.
So
So she,
were you cursing, like, or were you like saying like explicit stuff in those rhyme books?
as a fourth, fifth, sixth grader, you're exposed to things and you talk about stuff that you have no idea what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
you feel like you do, but you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there was this one rhyme, this run song I wrote where I talked about sex drive. And she was like, I found your rhyme book, because
Oh
I was looking
wow.
for the notebook. I'm like, Mom, did you see my blue notebook? And she's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
found it. I know that book. I said, where is it? And she's like, I know your little rhyme book. What you know about sex drive? And I said, dang, I don't know. Like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, well, I threw it out because I didn't like what I read in that book. And I'm like, what do you mean you threw it out? She's like, I threw it out. And it's in the
Wow.
outside trash. And don't go in there and try to go get it. So I was just like, man, I was just like shattered. But
Wow.
again, it didn't stop the dream. I think she was just trying to protect
Yeah.
me and didn't want me to, emulate what I was seeing in a negative way.
Yeah.
At such a young age, she was trying to protect me. But,
Yeah.
she didn't understand how, you know, she could have helped to grow it in a way. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
God, God has a plan, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. But again, I love music, and I always like to listen to like Usher and watch his music videos. And
Yeah.
one day, like Usher My Way came on. It was my favorite song,
Yeah.
and we all in the living room, all the siblings. My mom's out food shopping, and I'm like, she was always food shopping. If you watch the music videos, she out food shopping. That was always it. That's how we had to do it, because my mom, she had a certain background too, but what she was trying to garner in the family was like, Christian principles and things like that. And she, she had her own walk, but she always would try to sow seeds. So, she tried to raise us up the best way she could.
Yeah.
With those principles in mind.
Yeah.
So anyway, Usher My Way came on, and I'm in my little space and I'm singing along with it. Got the pillow hiding it from like everyone. I'm in my own little vibe. And my sister comes and snatches the pillow off me. She's like, that's you singing? You got a voice. You can sing. And I was like, yeah. So then from there, it was just like, I started like getting into like just singing more and like expressing that. I remember I went to my teacher, and I had just got this fresh new Cowboys jersey. Like that at the time, like, jerseys was cool. So I got this fresh new Cowboys jersey.
Yeah.
Went to my teacher and I said, Miss Stokes, I got a favorite song, and I want to know if I could like perform it for the class.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well, yeah, you can perform for class after lunch. So I'm in class performing Usher My Way.
Yeah.
Around the desk.
Yeah.
To all the people, because it just was fun. It felt good.
Yeah.
It was like an outlet for me.
Yeah.
So throughout like high school, rap battling was a big thing. So I would dabble in the rap battling, but I really didn't want to be a rapper like that. Me and my homies, we would always like listen to all the R&B albums, and like we have like school trips. And my boy Sydney, we will be on R&B albums heavy. Like when I mean heavy, heavy, he like, yo, bro, I got the new Jagged Edge. Oh, we gotta listen to that. We'll go like this. We'll separate the headphones.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, I got the new, and we listen to just not just like black R&B, but we listen to pop too. Like when NSYNC came out, No Strings
Yeah.
Attached, we had the album. We listening to that. Like, yo, you got Justin Timberlake, JT. Yo, JT a better singer. No, Justin Timberlake is nah. You know, like
Yeah,
we would do
yeah.
that. So throughout high school, R&B really spoke to me, and I was just, I was a lover boy anyway. So it just felt good to have what I felt articulated in a way that connected with tons of people.
Yeah.
I remember it was one summer when Mario first came out.
Okay.
And with
the Just a Friend.
Just a Friend.
Yeah.
That whole project. And I had braids at the time too. So it was just like, man, this guy's dope. I remember that whole summer. I was like, man, I'm really feeling this. And then B2K came out. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just so cool to see the rise of it. And I listened to a ton of people. It wasn't just like B2K, Mario, Usher. It was like it was a Soul Child, John Legend, like anything R&B, I was touching it because I just loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I graduated high school and went to college that I started to try to venture out and start to write my own R&B songs. I would go to like open mics, like during like college events and try to like sing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing about me though was like vocally, I didn't come from a house of singers. So my mom, she could sing. My older sister, she could sing. My dad could sing a little bit too. He would sing with Jodeci, but no one really ever took it serious to the point to say, hey, like, make sure you know notes, make sure you know keys, make sure you understand, tone, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I was just doing what felt good. And, it took me some time to understand my voice. It took me like understanding how I write. Because very early on in those college stages of like actually exploring it, I took a lot of L's. You know what I'm saying? What
was the L's that was like that really made you like bounce back almost like something that you got hit and you was like, man, but okay, I got to keep going. You know what I mean? What was one of those L's?
So I would try out so in New York, all the Making a Band auditions, right?
Yeah.
So I would try out for those. I tried out for 2 Making a Band auditions and 1 X Factor. X Factor came later, but well, let me backtrack a little bit. So after the open mics, there was a friend in college that so I had a friend in college whose girl, she knew somebody in New York that was kind of like trying to help artists, like
artist
like
development,
artist development, create a community for artists,
collective
and,
kind of
his name was Nigel.
Okay.
And shout out to Nigel Jeremiah. And Nigel, like one time he was like, yo, have you ever tried to write your own songs? And I was like, no. He said, you should try it. So I took what I've learned in writing rap songs and tried to apply it to singing.
Yeah.
It was dope because I was able to know song structures, but the only problem with that was, 16 bars in rap is very different from 16 bars in singing.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I had to kind of figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, fast forward to some of those L's, man. So I tried out to Making a Band. The first tryout was funny. Because I also danced in high school too. So that's something that like I was a dancer. Like when Chris Brown came out, I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, let's go,
Yeah.
I was that guy, but I danced too. So
yeah,
when Making a Band 1 came out, and I tried out for it, I was more in my dancing bag than my singing bag. Still singing, but more in my dancing bag. So I'm gonna tell you this funny story. So the judges for this first tryout was Joe, Alicia Keys, and then it was this other music exec I didn't know at the time. No. It was Joe, Alicia Keys, and Belle Biv DeVoe.
Michael Bivins?
Michael Bivins, yeah.
Got you. Wow. Okay.
And so we in the audition room, not meeting with other artists and just creators and performers. and like a little dance battle broke out in the whole audition room.
Oh wow.
So mind you, in New York it's cold. So you know, I had a jacket on. So I took my jacket off. Hold on to that. And I did the little dance battle with the homie or whatever, and it was cool. You know, everyone's waiting around. It was cool. And then they said, okay, guys, get ready. We're about to start the auditions. So I put my jacket back on. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in New York, if you know about public transit, you have something called a Metro card,
Yeah.
right? That you swipe to get on the subway, all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had that in my top pocket. My turn to go up. Now, mind you, I have any vocal training, nothing. I'm just going on a whim just to sing and
Yeah.
see what they think, right?
Yeah.
I stand in front of Alicia Keys, Joe, Michael Bivins. So I do my little song. I sing it was Stevie Wonder, My Cherie Amour. So
Yeah.
I sang that. And I remember Alicia Keys, she was looking at me, she was like, thank you for coming, right? So I was like, all right, well, thank you. I leave out the door. I leave out the door. Now there was people that was going to the left, people that was going to the right. If
Yeah.
you went to the right, you know, you were in more of the intertwinings of the building.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was going to the left, it was outside. You outside now on the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to the left. So I'm outside on the street. I'm like, I probably didn't do good.
Yeah.
I walk in a few blocks and I'm about to get on the subway. And I'm like, I feel my Metro card, but I can't get to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on with this pocket? I look, Jeremiah, I have my jacket on inside out, bro.
Oh.
Bro, not
Inside out
only,
is wiggity 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 whack.
dog,
Nah, that's
not
cool.
only, not only was I sweaty from dance battling the homie back there, not only did I not have the vocal training or
Yeah.
knowledge, my jacket was inside out too. I know they're looking
Wow.
at me like, who is this boy up here? What's he doing? So, bro, I felt so embarrassed. I went back to because I was in college at the time. I went
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to school. I shaved my head bald. I was just like, why would I do that? But what it taught me was like, yo, like it's not gonna be easy to do what I want to do. Like if this is
Got
what
you.
I want to do,
Yeah.
even in the secular space, because you know, I was eons away from doing anything like Christian R&B
Yeah.
based music at all.
Yeah.
But if I was gonna do this, I knew that it ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah.
I gotta keep rolling.
Yeah.
So tapped in with Nigel a little bit more, met some other singers, got into a little group, you know,
Yeah.
at first, and you know, was picking up stuff from the other members and you know, learning and growing there. Then I got an opportunity to work with so one of the members, he had an actual manager. And you know, back then, like anyone would say they was your manager,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm a
Yeah.
manager, but you know, the guy that he was working with was actually trying to start something and do something. He had a studio, he had connections to at least create the music and to like be able
Yeah.
to do showcases and all of that stuff. So
Yeah.
he's like, I bet. So the member brought the group to him, and his name was Ken Luciano. Now Ken Luciano, you know, Puerto Rican dude from the Bronx. He worked at Jazz at Lincoln Center. He had an understanding of the business in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, he's making money. So like he had his own studio at the crib, you know, he had the Pro Tools, he had the
Yeah.
Rockets, he had, you know, the Design interface, he had the closet that he converted to a booth, like he had it all set up.
Yeah.
So he was just like, yo, y'all should come and record.
Yeah.
So we came, we recorded, and then, you know, he really liked at least my tone and what I was doing.
Wow.
So he actually was like, yo, I want to put you in vocal coaching. So he actually like paid for vocal coaching for me for a little while for me to understand. And at that time, that's when I was really like, okay, let me understand what I got, because I got something. I know I do.
Yeah.
Let me understand it. Scales, key, you know, tone, the types of voices, like from, you know, chest voice to head voice, falsetto, you know, how should you be, you know, approaching stuff, diction, all that.
Yeah.
And one of the other members, he ended up like having to drop out the group for some personal reasons.
Yeah.
And the two members that were left was me and another guy. And we tried to do a song together. And Ken was like, I think y'all should just be solo artists. So we'll just be in the group. you know, we got Kennis Clark and we got, you know, Ken, because his name was Ken too.
Gotcha.
Everybody named Ken. Funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
KKK. It was all as a kid. So what started to happen was the other member that was still left over, like he kind of had stuff going on too. So he can always come to sessions.
Yeah.
Where Ken Luciano would hit me up, like, yo, bro, studio's open this weekend. You want to come record? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Hop in my car and I'm driving to the Bronx.
Yeah.
So we built a relationship there. And he was like, yo, man, I really want to like pour into you and to help you kind of create. So now this is like mixtape. This is mixtape life. Like this is when everyone's dropping mixtapes.
Yeah.
So we worked on mixtapes. We worked on 3 mixtapes.
Yeah.
And the thing about this was Ken Luciano was also the engineer. And,
oh wow.
You know, and he also rapped too. And he went by the name Dub. And the problem with that though was that he was a rapper. He wasn't a singer. So now it's like the concepts for the music was there. They were developing. The flows were there, but like the music wasn't executed well.
Gotcha.
And this is when auto-tune was like one of those things that people were either using and like exaggerating it, or like not using, right? And the people that mostly were not using it, like their records would sound like dry and just like no lift.
Yeah.
And then the people that were using it, it was like you hit a wobble and all of that stuff. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm still learning. And I remember he was like, "We're not doing no auto-tune." I'm like, all right, cool. But like, if that's the case, then like I just needed more vocal production in the studio.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. So like a lot of times like the songs didn't come out as good. The mixtapes progressed in sound, but they didn't come out as good.
Did you when you did mixtapes, did you like did you do the 50 Cent style, Lil Wayne style mixtapes where you would flip people's songs, or was it more like just like, or was it a mixture of your songs and their songs combined?
So the first 2 mixtapes I did, it was my first mixtape was called Kennis Clark, It's My Turn. And that one was like, I just took people's beats and just did my own songs to them. Yeah. And if the song was hot enough, I would still incorporate parts of that song in the record.
Gotcha.
The second mixtape was called Cupid's Journey, which was like more like R&B-ish. And that one had a few originals on it. But again, I would take the R&B style songs, like Drake's records was heavy at that time. I would take his records and like flip them.
Yeah.
And then the third mixtape was called Brain Cells versus Heartbeats, where I did a heavy mixture of both like original songs, where I would go to like leasing beats. But at this point, SoundClick was the big website for leasing those beats. I don't know if you remember SoundClick.
Yeah, I do. Sure do.
So I would go to SoundClick, go to producers' sites. I would go get their beats, and then I would do that. And then if there was a beat out in the street, I would go and pick it up and put it on the project.
Yeah.
So I did that, you know, and it came to a point where, you know, he kind of felt this is as far as he can take me. You know, his life picked up.
Yeah.
But I was still like, I need to still do music. And so then now the second round for making the band comes back to New York. So I'm like, oh man, I've been, you know, flexing the muscle now. I can get in here, you know, like, let's see what's up.
Yeah.
In hindsight though, I'm, you know, no shade on anybody a part of that production, but I'm, you know, I'm kind of happy I didn't get caught up in that stuff.
Was this time like doing the Lorianne debacle and all that stuff was happening at that time?
Yeah, the Cheesecake Walk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, look, I still got the same baby oil bottle from 2000. It's the same amount in there. It's the same. The label is all dry and like that's when you know. That's when you know. Like the same, you know. Anyway, I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. Man.
No, but I think I'll say this. To be fair, I think to be fair though, it's a lot of people that I think they don't know to distinguish between a Diddy party and a Diddy party. If you get it, and you from New York, so you understand what I'm saying, because of course he was a party promoter, and I mean, before he was a producer, he was a party promoter. So he know how to throw good parties. And I think now so anytime somebody say, "Yeah, I went to a Diddy party," they be like, "Oh, everybody else get it big and stuff." It's like, no, he was a good party promoter back in the day. Now the after party, I didn't go to none of those, but you know what I'm saying. So I think sometimes we negate that idea, especially in the culture we're in now. Because if you just say Diddy party, it automatically goes to like the after party joints. Yeah.
Should go to Diddy party. Who knows what you do? I don't know what you do. Like, I go home to my wife.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
it's, you know what I mean?
That's crazy that you got up to this, to come back to that. Like, did they see you before? Like, did Mike Bivens be like, "Yo,
no,
I remember you, bro"? Oh, okay.
It was a whole different judge panel. Now I don't remember who these guys were, but it was a whole different judge panel.
Gotcha.
But this time I had a little bit more confidence, like I said, because I've been flexing it. I've been working the muscle a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt good. Now this time I sang, and when I sang, they said, "Sing again. I want you to sing that again." And the guy was like, "I want you to focus on this one particular area, like focus on those notes right there." And I was like, okay, he gave me a second chance. So I sang it again. He was like, "It's like, you got something, man. You got something. I want you to keep working at it. You know, this might not be the opportunity for you. Yeah. I want you to keep working."
Yeah.
So I was like, well, thanks, because at the time too, I mean, they're looking for singers that's bringing down the house.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just always that singer and artist that I just had to continuously always be working on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I left there feeling a lot better, made some long lasting friends from that audition, and it just helped me to continue to keep going. And this is where things start to pick up a bit.
Yeah.
So now I'm no longer with Ken Luciano, and that collective was called Nothing Over Music.
Got you.
So I'm no longer with Nothing Over Music, but still family. Like, I'm still pulling up at the house. I'm still coming to the baby christenings, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I'm also doing some other shows.
Yeah.
Some showcases, again, just to get warm.
Yeah.
And I did this one showcase, and I did my set, and then there was this other cat who did a set, and this dude was like Chris Brown, like with the vocals, with the dance moves, like this. I was like, this dude is fire. Like, who is this guy? So we linked up after the show, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you're dope too, man. Like, I like your songs. I like what you're doing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Thanks, man." So we just kind of stay connected. And one day, and a lot of people don't hear the story because interviews aren't as deep enough for me to really expound on all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. And then one day he called me. He was like, "Yo, Kennis, I'm at work. I'm working customer service. You know what I'm saying?"
Yeah.
He called me. He's like, "Kennis," I'm like, "Bro, man, what's up?" He says, "Yo, bro, I got this crazy idea, but you got to drive out to Brooklyn and I'll tell you." And I'm like, "Bro, you can just tell me over the phone." He's like, "No, bro, I'll tell you, got to come out to Brooklyn." And he was always like that. So I go out to Brooklyn. We're in the lobby. He's like, "Bro, me, you, bro, we need to form a group. I'm telling you, it'd be crazy." Now, the type of music he was doing was on a whole nother level.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, yo, this is the R&B that I want to be able to create.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was at a whole nother spot.
Yeah.
Always been like that. Like, even today, even to this day, like,
yeah,
he's always been like innovative and just super, super dope. So I was like, yeah, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we vetted a few artists that was in the area that's working, local artists.
Yeah.
And then there was an artist from California that we vetted, and he wanted to be in the group. So the member that I'm talking about at the time, he went by, his name was at the time LA So Stereo.
Okay.
But his real name is Chris. But
okay.
LA. Yeah. I'm gonna say Chris. So Chris Jones, we're gonna go by your real name.
Yeah.
So Chris, he made his money off of just producing for other artists, local artists, writing songs, like doing shows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he could do this full time. Like, I was going to work every day. He was just like having artists come to the crib. He was recording them.
Oh, got you.
You know what I mean? Like, that was his thing.
Yeah.
So the artist in LA, his name was Tommy. And Tommy wanted to be in the group. And Tommy said, yo, like, I'll come out to New York and we'll we'll just work on music, work on a project,
Yeah.
and just continue to create.
Yeah.
And we came out, we met Tommy, we did a few rehearsals because
Yeah.
we were also dancing too. We recorded some songs, and we're like, yo, this is a dope fit because it worked for us.
Yeah.
So we started making like little waves in New York. And one of the songs that we did, it was a cover to one of Eric Bellinger's songs,
Okay.
who's, he's a world-renowned songwriter.
Yeah.
He
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
wrote Fine China for Chris. He writes tons of stuff.
And he a dope artist too. Like
yeah.
he make dope music.
Yeah, Eric Bellinger is definitely fire. And at the time,
Yeah.
we were listening to a lot of Eric Bellinger, Ty Dolla $ign, Kevin McCall, who else? Obviously Chris Brown and Marion. Like we were in this like R&B pop bag. Eric Bellinger heard the cover because now Tommy was also connected to some other writers.
Gotcha.
So we made this. We made this. I don't want to say it's an EP. We just created this project. Our group name was called ILS, which was In Love with Sound.
Okay.
And one of the songwriters heard what we was doing, sent Eric Bellinger the cover that we did to one of his songs called Circle of Love.
Yeah.
And he heard it and he was like, yo, I want to work with y'all. So now the move was like, okay, we're going to go from New York. We need to get out to Cali. Now, and then Kevin McCall heard some of our stuff too. He wanted to work too. So it was like we had two dope producers, songwriters that wanted to work with us.
Yeah.
And at this time, like groups was like still kind of popping. I think you had like Mindless Behavior, like these up and coming groups. You think there was another group called like LIE, which is like a New York group. But it was still dope to be in a group.
Yeah. Not like now.
Nah.
Yeah, now you can't find no groups. Everybody want to be a star, man. Everybody want to be the star.
You know what? I'll be the first to say this. You know how TGT came together?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think at some point that should happen in Christian R&B.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, and I know the three.
Yeah. Who the three?
I know the three.
Who the three?
All right. I think it should be me. I think Jor'dan Armstrong.
Okay.
And Stevie Rizzo.
I was thinking that. I was thinking Stevie. You, Jordan. Y'all gonna use y'all name? Would y'all need JSK?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Like if all three of us did a project, I think. Are
you? Do you know them like that yet, or have you met them or anything? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
But timing is everything.
Yeah. I think that would be fire, man. I mean, first off, I think Jordan should take a lot of people on tour with him. I mean, I'll probably talk to him when I get a chance. Mm-hmm. I think for me personally, I feel like he's right now. He got it to the point where I've seen his tour live. Me and my wife went, and it was really good. So I'm like, he just didn't have no opening act. He just had like, or maybe he did, and we was late. But I think at the same time, now he's in a position where if he did do a tour, like just a strong Christian R&B tour, he got some people that can come out with him. Like a lot of it's so many dope Christian R&B artists out now. But
bro, it is. It's crazy. And even to sidestep and talk about that, I think what I desire in this space is just more like unity, right? Like more hey, like let's all do this. Right? Let's, but again, everyone has their camps. Everyone has kind of like their own visions to what they're doing, and they may respect what you do. But I'm not seeing a lot of the collaborations yet. So that's one of the things that I would love to keep trying to push. But it's still very new. So I think people are still trying to fill out where they fit. So but hey, you guys heard it first right here.
Yeah. Kingdom Ox, you heard it first, and I'm probably going to use this as one of the single clips out of this interview to post, so people can be like, let's make that happen.
I don't know, man. Down the line of a project, I don't know. Who knows?
But I mean, it's still some good contemporary gospel Christian R&B groups like GI. Them boys, they get it. I mean, I wish Wine and Face too. I mean, that's old school. But then and then also Minister Standard and different people like that. But they're more old school. But this isn't like pure Christian R&B like the wave on now. And I get that. Like the three of y'all will be like
bro.
Take my money. The lady,
just how how TGT did it, you know, how
yeah,
they came,
yeah,
they're all their own entities, they all
yeah,
have their own things going on, but they're
yeah,
like, yo, let's come together for a project and then let's go on tour with it.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So anyway,
yeah,
that's just out there. So, you
yeah.
know,
But go
anyway,
back to the story
but
of you in that group
yeah,
and what
yeah,
was
man.
about to go off with that.
So man, we were just super, super excited because there was what we set out to do was starting to happen. Like we had a
Yeah.
plan, like, oh, all right, you know, we're gonna cook up from I think we started in like October, and
Mm-hmm.
by January of that following year, which was 2013,
Yeah.
we said, okay, we want to at least be on the road to California because, to be honest, like I love New York, but we don't have a sound. We
Mm.
lost we
Really?
lost we don't have a strong sound.
You don't think R&B don't have a sound from New York?
I think at that time we didn't have a sound. Even now, I mean, I don't know what's coming out of New York,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll say that I'll backtrack. At that time, there was no sound
Got you.
for New York.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a time when that pop EDM was like tag teaming with R&B heavy at that
That
time.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So you're getting into that late 2000, early 2010s when you having a
mm-hmm,
Usher, Chris Brown,
mm-hmm,
Neo, all these guys doing that EDM type sounding music.
mm-hmm, yeah,
So of course, like now as I think about it, it was like, oh yeah, that sound. But I'm thinking about, well, even if you think about like Teddy Riley or New Jack Swing,
mm-hmm,
that's the sound of the 80s, early 90s. But then when
yeah,
you get deeper in, you started getting all these different type of producers like Dark Child. You get all these
mm-hmm,
other people that didn't really, they had their own sound, but they didn't
mm-hmm.
have a sound culturally, if you get what I'm saying, like regionally,
Right,
if you know what I'm
right,
saying. Yeah. So I
yeah,
kind of understand what you're saying.
yeah, bro. Like trap music from the South like took over. It was
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean. And then like if there
Yeah.
was anything popping in the R&B space, it was West Coast. Like
Yeah.
it was it
Yeah.
was it was the West Coast. So
Yeah.
that's what we wanted to be. So the plan was to get to the West Coast. Chris and Tommy, you know, they flew over there because Tommy had a spot with his fam. They had extra space, so
Yeah.
we was gonna just kind of stay there for a little while, work with EB, and give him a call, and then like from there we go from there. Because at this point it's just like, yo, we just need to be there to make the music. All the other stuff we'll figure out.
Yeah.
I'm working at the time, so like, you know, I gotta take time off. I gotta figure out how that's gonna be. And yeah, man, I was stacking up my bread and I said, all right, y'all. Well, if y'all gonna fly, go ahead, fly. I'll meet y'all there. Like I'll drive my car because I was
Yeah.
like, yo, I don't want to fly. I just got this new car. Like I'm gonna drive it over. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna come through. Like I was living that, like had a job, you know, paying my bills, just financed the car, like real structured life, you know,
Yeah.
trying to start my life in a sense.
Yeah.
Um they were living like, yo, like just creative, like they're gonna figure it
Yeah.
out. So that was
Yeah.
new for me too. So anyway,
Yeah.
man, so they go a week. I said I'll be there in like a week.
Yeah.
So I quit my job. I put my 2 weeks in. My girl at the time, like I was telling her, like, yeah, I gotta go out to LA, I gotta go out to Cali for a little bit. So we didn't know what we were gonna do.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I gotta go over here, you know, and
Yeah.
do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. So I remember it was like the weekend before I was supposed to leave, and I get a call.
Mm.
First of all, the group chat was going crazy.
Yeah.
Then I get a call. Tommy don't want to be in the group no more. I'm like, what? You mean you don't want to be in the group anymore? What you mean? So we trying to call Tommy. We trying to call him. He not answering none
Yeah.
of our calls.
Yeah.
We trying to call the songwriter that he was connected to. He not
Yeah.
answering the calls.
Yeah.
And we're like, what is going on? I'm like, LA, Chris, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
Then Tommy hit us with the text. I don't want to be in a group anymore. I really want to pursue writing. You know, I tried the group stuff. It isn't for me. All this other stuff, man. Sorry to let y'all down, but this is what I need to do. Like, and I'm
That's
just like,
crazy.
dang, bro, like I just quit my job. Like I'm about to drive out
Yeah.
there. Our other group member is out there with you right now. Like, what does that mean? So then I dive deep into the story. So him and Chris
Yeah.
actually had like a falling out.
Oh,
They
gotcha.
had a
Gotcha.
little squabble, and they actually
Yeah.
been having squabbles for a long time, but I didn't
Yeah.
know about it.
Got you. So they was
Um,
hiding that from you.
they were just having squabbles, man. They was having like
Wow.
disagreements. Chris was very headstrong at times.
Yeah.
Tommy had, cause we all designed like a structure to how we would do in our songs.
Yeah.
Either Chris would lead the song with the
Yeah.
vocals, I would lead it. We'll come together on harmonies. Tommy was like super dope at harmonies,
Yeah.
and he was dope at catching second verses and bridges because he had a higher voice, so he could take it up and do stuff.
Yeah.
But he wanted to start songs, but we were kind of like, let's work on like how you deliver some stuff too. We all was working on stuff and kind of trying to figure
Yeah.
out, but the model we
Yeah.
had was working, but he
Yeah.
wanted to switch it. And I know that they like was having some just little issues or whatever about that. And Tommy is like, I don't like how he went about it. And Chris is like, man, why he keep acting like this? Like, so they was having like
Oh, yeah.
regular group beef.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So man, I had to. So since the group broke up and they
Dang.
was having beef, of course
Yeah.
my guy Chris is out there like, all right, well, I'm out here by myself. I'm just
Yeah.
like, all right, dude, I'll be out there in like 5 days.
Yeah.
Here's some bread, bro. Get a little hotel. I'll see you when I get out there, dog.
Yeah.
So I drove out there, which was crazy because I hit like every type of weather possible. Listen, man, I was like, I wish I could find a video. I literally put a video up saying, what am I doing? I am crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
was, because I'm like, I'm driving and I took the northern route. I made sure it didn't cut me down because I wasn't
Yeah.
playing with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I took the northern route. Man, I hit rain. I hit a snowstorm in Michigan, a whiteout snowstorm. Couldn't see anything. Like by the grace of God,
Yeah.
I didn't crash out. Man, and then I
And
remember
you
when I
had
got,
probably had map quest.
so I had the Garmin. The
Okay.
Garmin.
Okay.
You put it on your windshield and it tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So I had the Garmin, but yeah, like sometimes that would blink out, and I'm like, what's going on, man? So I'm driving, and I remember I got to Arizona. It was real late at night. I thought it was a UFO following me. Later on, I realized it was probably like a drone because
Yeah. Yeah.
they have these drones. I remember
Yeah.
I'm driving and I see this like just green light following me, and then it go then go it's like following me, then go whoop, and it's gone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm texting my sister, if I die tonight, I'm in Arizona. I'm driving. I feel like a UFO is following me. I had a machete on the side of my seat. I remember I was like, "You gonna get this work, extraterrestrial. You're gonna get this work if you
You're gonna be like
pop
Will
out.
Smith. Welcome to Earth.
You're gonna get this work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I even got to a town where they didn't have any premium gas.
Oh wow.
And I was like the only black guy with like a hoodie because I'm a black guy,
Yeah.
hoodie. At the
Yeah.
time, I drove a BMW, and it was like my prized possession. And I'm trying to get gas. I couldn't get gas because they didn't have the gas type,
Dang.
so I had to buy an octane booster to boost the octane in regular. So just a tip it out there, guys. If you're ever in a place and you don't have the right gas, you can always get octane booster to get so you don't mess up your engine.
Yeah.
I got a ticket in Vegas for speeding. Nevada for speeding. Cause at that point it's open road, so you don't even feel it.
Yeah.
I'm doing like 95, 100. But when I finally got to California, it was like, yeah, I made it.
Yeah.
Met up with the homie, man, and then from there we was like, all right, let's regroup, let's figure out what we're gonna do because we both out here now. What we're gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So was that road trip like? Did you feel like God was giving you signs during that road trip? Like maybe this not me, you, or would you just like, God, okay, I'm just gonna get out there. I just got to get out there. Or was it? Did you like looking back now? Do you feel like there were signs in that to be like, go back to New York, bro? Or was it like, nah, we got to make this do what it do?
Well, going back to New York wasn't an option for me.
Got you. Okay.
It wasn't. It was like, I got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And I think every trial that I faced, even just with like the transition, God was just more, I feel like he was just letting me know, like, again, what you want isn't gonna be easy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
it's not a linear path to what you want.
Got you.
To what I have for you. Like
Yeah.
you gotta work through it. You can't
Yeah.
quit. And
Yeah.
that's kind of always been me. Like I rarely quit on things.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
might get low energy, I might get down about it, I might get like,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But like that's one thing about me. I'm gonna get back up and go.
Yeah.
My mom was like that, and I watched her do it
Yeah.
all throughout, my life. So
Yeah.
that's kind of in me, like it's not like I got the dog like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like that's not my personality.
Yeah. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
personality is like, all right, I'm gonna be focused and I'm gonna be quiet about it, but like I'm gonna keep on going. Like you're not
Got
gonna
you.
see me stop, especially if I
Got you.
decide to do it. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I think that was I think that was a bit of that.
Yeah.
So when I got to LA, again trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Like I had money, but like I couldn't like just lease a spot because I didn't have ways to show that I was working, or
Yeah.
stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was like the hotels and motels. Some nights it was in the car. And I remember one time like I had to sleep in the car for a couple of days, like
Oh wow.
because my money's running out. We're
Yeah.
trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Bro, like we would like this, and then now survival mode kicking in because I'm like, yo, like the wrong move, bro, and I'm homeless. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Wow.
so we would go in the morning and eat the fattiest food we would eat. So they had places out there called Del Taco. They had
Yeah.
a place
Yeah.
out there called Hardee's.
Yeah.
No, it's called Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
They had In and Out for sure.
Yeah.
And then they had this other place called Jack in the Box.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we would wake up, we would go and get like as much food as we could eat in the sitting because we knew
Yeah.
like, all right, like we need this food to last throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just me and Chris trying to
Yeah.
figure
Yeah.
it out, right?
Yeah.
And so when we did a show back in New York, there was a guy that was like, yo, when you get out to Cali, y'all need to call this person,
Yeah.
this one person, take a meeting with her, because she's plugged in out there.
Yeah.
So it's good, take a meeting. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I bet. So, but I told him, so I call him, and his name is I ain't gonna drop too many names in this story, but I'm like, man, he calls me, he's like, yo, y'all out there, did y'all make it? Because again, a lot of people from New York that supported, they was like rooting for us, like, yo, go out to Cali, like make that music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they was like, yo, did you make it? Y'all make it? We're like, yeah. He's like, yo, did you call so and so to take the meeting? And I'm like, bro, I'm not in no form, shape, or fashion to take a meeting right now. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, you gotta take the meeting.
Yeah.
So so we met with her, we took the meeting, and then we played her our records.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yo, y'all are dope. We gotta figure this out. So at the time, like her situation, she had extra room in the crib, let us come work. Me and him, we decided to be a duo.
Yeah.
We rebranded and we call ourselves O&E.
Okay.
And from there we start cooking up, doing shows out in LA, Hollywood. Really started building
Yeah.
some rapport.
Yeah.
So people started to get acquainted to what we did.
Yeah.
We met like other duos, like there's a duo out there called Jake and Papa. We met them. There was a few other duos and just like artists out there. And funny enough, the name O&E was the name of a group that Eric Bellinger was in when he was younger.
Yeah.
So that was fun, a funny story too. So when the group broke up, Eric, like they weren't really trying to like mess with, they moved on. But when the name thing came up again, like the guy who owned the trademark to the name, who used to manage them at one time, sent a cease and desist to us. Y'all gotta change the name. Because now we in LA, we making moves.
Yeah.
You gotta change the name. So our manager was like, no, that we don't gotta change the name. Like we can figure it out. Let's meet with Eric Bellinger. So we did a show at San Diego. Is this college in San Diego?
Yeah.
And Eric Bellinger actually pulled up to the show.
Wow.
Him and his wife, they pulled up to the show. And after we did our say, he's like, "Yeah, dope, man. Y'all keep rocking, man. Now it's not the time for us to work, but keep rocking."
Yeah.
And we took pictures and we talked to him about the name. He was like, "Man, I don't care about that. Like, man, y'all do what y'all do. I don't care about that name. Like,
Yeah.
they can't
Yeah.
do anything. Like, it's under me. Like, I was a part of that, and I ain't moving on it. So y'all could go ahead and do what y'all do."
Oh
So that was
wow.
cool. We kind of got the blessing from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, again, this is R&B. This is LA.
Yeah.
This is like parties. This is
Yeah.
events. This is appearances. This is like turning up. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
um, girls.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, drinking, and that kind of started to get to us a bit. Girl back
Even,
home.
like even in that what you just talked about,
Mm-hmm.
like even in that, do you see that, like, man, is this something that is controlling me? Like, because I mean, at the time when you're
Mm-hmm.
in the life, you're not thinking about that. You're more thinking about, like, I just want to make it. I just want to be out here and
Mm-hmm.
make it.
Right.
But does
Right.
all that come with that for somebody listening that's trying to get in the music business? Like maybe somebody come up across this interview and they say, "Man, is it really like that? Where you trying to make it, then all this other stuff start coming for you, kind
Mm-hmm.
of." You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like that. And if you so here's the thing, it's available to you, right? It's in front
Mm,
of you, it's available
yeah,
to you, but it's up to you to know who you are.
yeah,
And if that's you, that's you. Like,
yeah,
that's what you're deciding to do, I would say don't. But if
yeah,
that's you, then that's you.
yeah,
But if it's not you, um it can destroy it would destroy you if it is or not, but it's in front of you. So it's one of those things that, like, you gotta really know who you are.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You gotta
yeah,
really understand
yeah,
um, your value,
yeah, yeah,
because it's one thing to host a club in New York, go to a party, hanging out with your boys, doing that. It's another thing to host a party in LA, and it's a part of like your career,
Oh
right? Like,
wow,
it's
wow, okay,
different. It's a different
yeah,
feel,
yeah,
and yeah, man, it can get to you. It can, um, and when I mean it, I'm talking about like the substances, the lifestyle,
yeah, yeah,
um, the girls, the ambiance of like being like a turn up king, or like,
yeah,
taking part of just what that is. Like,
yeah,
party over here, we there, bro. Let's go. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You try and come back over here, okay, cool. Let's pull off. Like,
yeah,
it can be a little reckless.
yeah.
Um,
But is that lifestyle like something that people always think, yo, I want that kind of vibe? Like, or is it just like, man, I started doing music, I got out here, and it is what it is. You know
mhm,
what I mean?
mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I think, and that's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
I don't know what everyone thinks, right? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know what they
yeah,
think, but
yeah.
here's the thing, right? Like, that's why I say you gotta know yourself, because some of
Got
these
you.
events are like networking events.
Yeah,
Like, you go in the network, you're gonna meet people.
yeah,
But like, there's alcohol, there's weed, there's cocaine if you want, there's
yeah,
Molly over there,
yeah,
there's all these baddies that lined up to whatever if you want, if
yeah,
you got enough clout enough, you know what I
yeah.
mean? If your followers are up there and you look and you popping, yeah, it's available to you.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you got it's a focus. Even if you were in the secular, it's like, at some point, it's like, if you're talking about all this stuff on one hand,
Yeah, that's true. That's
are
true.
you living the life that way too? Because
That's
people might be
true.
expecting you to.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
you talking about turning up, blah 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 blah. When you go to the club, people expecting you to do that.
Yeah,
So now, like, you withholding something that might
yeah.
be even detrimental to you.
Yeah, so even in R&B, I mean, hip hop, of course, but like
Mhm,
even in R&B, like if you making music kind of on the turn up, let's party, people gonna expect that, even if you may just like, I'm just trying to create
mhm,
dope turn up music, or I may just trying to make good music. You know what I mean? Because back in the day where
mhm,
I wasn't in the industry like that, but I had my foot in it at
mhm,
times. And I could see the process of certain people were just like, okay, we need to make this party record, we need to make this love record, we need to make
mhm,
this record, we need to make these type of records.
mhm,
Doesn't mean that you as the person, because majority of the time you always hear people say like, yo, I didn't even like that record. I just had to
Mm-hmm.
do it. You know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think going back to what you said, is like, are people really expecting that from you, or do they not know the difference between I just got to cut a record versus this is my lifestyle? You get what I mean?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Got you.
I think there's that expectancy to live out what you talk about in your music.
Got you.
And then I also think there's some people that might understand is just for the business part, but then that
Yeah.
takes away from the authenticity of what you talk about in your music too.
Got you.
Like think about 50 Cent, right? Think
Yeah.
about and I'm only referencing 50 Cent because 50 Cent to me when he came out, and even where I was in my life, like 50 Cent was like, he was authentic. I knew if anyone tried to pull up on 50 Cent or even Tupac, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they talked about in their music,
Yeah.
they did it for the
Yeah.
most part that
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
you know, or you would feel that.
Yeah.
Um, 50 Cent, like when he came out with Get Rich or Die Trying, like, yo, that was real for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. That was
So
his mantra. Yeah.
right. So imagine if 50 Cent came out with Get Rich or Die Trying, right? The intro, he getting shot, all that stuff is happening, like, you know, and then you met him and like he's a total different person to what he was in music. That takes away from the authenticity
Yeah.
from what he's doing.
Yeah.
Or think about the venues he would book. The
Yeah.
people who actually wanted to come was dudes from the hood who can resonate
Yeah.
with what he was doing. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing in R&B. I think there's a there well in yeah, I think there was an expectancy. Like no woman goes to a Chris Brown show to expect him to not dance and sing and talk nice to them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Same thing with Usher, same thing with Trey
Yeah.
Songz. Trey Songz created a persona where he was just the bachelor,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what attracted his crowd.
Yeah.
So if he's at an event or in a party or whatever, and like, he's not emulating that, people are like, well, you're not authentic to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even in our space, right? The more the faith-based space, we deal with it a lot where people, we're not gonna name drop and pick.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
tons of it out there, but there's people that might say certain things in their song, and when you see them or you interact with them or you look from afar, you see like, yo, that don't line up. Now we're not judging, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
judge, but
Yeah.
it does affect it. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
That's real. That's
yeah,
real.
it's expected um to at least take part, and
Yeah.
be a part of it. And if you're not solid here, like you're gonna fall for it and take a part of it and be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was kind of like that, man. But again, we were still growing. So just to fast forward a bit. So we had an opportunity to work with Sony. They heard our stuff through a mutual connection.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if you ever heard of Taylor Hill, but Taylor Hill is
Yeah.
he's a Christian singer
Yeah.
songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like we were close. We all were close. Like
Yeah.
in like the same circles of singers and artists. And he was actually going to be executive producing and writing our next project that preceded
Oh wow.
the mixtape that we put out with
Yeah.
O&E. He was going to do like the album.
Yeah.
And through his connection at Sony, they were going to, distribute it, and it was going to be one of those things.
Yeah.
And then the group curse came right back. the group plague came right back, man. And
oh, it was just you two. How did that happen?
The group plague, man. I was like, oh my goodness. Jeremiah, like, and it's funny because me and Chris, we still boys today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we've talked about the story. We say, yo, we gonna write a movie about this one day. But bro, like we just was in two different headspaces.
Yeah.
He had some stuff going on personally, and it started to infuse with the group.
Yeah.
I was out there trying to be focused, but also like misstepping with some of the stuff that I was doing. Ultimately it caused a rift in the friendship and the brotherhood.
Oh, wow.
And bro, we had a meeting for the deal with Sony, and like it all just came out, and it was over from then.
So like at the signing, it just came out like, yo,
it was the dinner meeting. It was
okay.
the dinner meeting prior to.
Gotcha.
And the A&R we was working with, he picked up on vibes, and Me and Chris, man, almost fought in the streets of Glendale. We almost had a fight for sure. I was about to uppercut homie because at this point it's like I'm doing a lot and
Yeah,
sacrificing a lot, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
we're not getting anywhere with it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
in hindsight, it was kind of like, am I getting somewhere? Maybe it's small steps, but I don't know, Lord, right?
yeah.
So I remember when that happened, like, he moved out the artist house and it was just me and manager's like, all right, so what you want to do? And I remember the manager at one point, well, Chris at one point was like, hey, um, I want to leave the group, but I'm leaving the group because I want to do Christian music.
Oh wow.
This is like 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. And the manager at the time was like, I was like, nah, uh-uh. Seriously, Jeremiah, seriously. I said, nah. Um, it was funny because the manager at the time was like, well, Kennis, I know your mom is heavy in faith and I know you do a little something. Let's make this like a Christian thing. And I was like, no, like I'm not doing that.
And now here you are.
Now it's crazy, right? Because the reasons I said I wasn't gonna do it was because
Yeah,
for one, sonically, like I just thought it was gonna be cheesy and just whack, and I
yeah,
wasn't at a place to do it.
yeah,
But two, years prior, I remember trying to be a part of a praise team and really try to find God in one particular church.
yeah.
And this church was so judgmental
Oh wow.
about me not being churched
Got you.
that it made me resent anything church.
Got you.
So
Got
my
you.
relationship at that point
Got you.
forward was just like the relationship is between me and God, but I wasn't hearing anything of God, and I was for sure not doing godly
Yeah.
things or things
Yeah.
that God, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
wasn't pouring any oil on anything. I wasn't praying. I wasn't nothing. I was out here party turning up.
Yeah. I think
Um,
those religious experiences in church
mhm.
really make
Yeah,
it really make people run away. Like it's like it's no
yeah,
freedom. It's really like, yo, why are you singing this way? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing
hmm,
that? And it's like you got to be
yeah,
like not like being like God or be like Jesus more. It's more like be what we are like in this church. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
some
Like,
people buckle under it, and then some people
mhm.
like, nah, I'm good, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's like you got to be acclimated to the
Yeah,
culture of it, and at that time in my life when that did happen, like you know, I'm I was just trying to find something deeper than what I was
yeah,
experiencing.
yeah,
And for me to be like shunned, people talking about me not being received because I would have earrings in my ear, or
yeah,
because like, I wore like baggy jeans, or because I spoke a different way, you know, it was kind of like, and then to see how things happened with
yeah,
some of the members of the church, it was like, man, y'all regular messy people just like us.
yeah,
So y'all can have that. So years later, when it came up in the meeting,
yeah,
it was like one of those things like we couldn't say no because I'm like, well, I respect God, and
yeah,
if God's calling you to do that, then I respect it. We
yeah,
respect it,
yeah,
but I'm not going to do that. So
yeah,
I guess good riddance, my boy,
yeah.
and that was that.
He did the Drew Hill thing. Like
He
what Drew
bounced,
Hill?
man.
Like
He bounced.
I got to go put on the
He
Lord.
bounced, and
Wow.
he went and he did his own journey, at
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
And I just went solo. Now, when I went solo, that's when things start to pick up again. Like
Oh wow.
I got with like these producers, these songwriters. I started working with like, so there's this one producer. His name was Dream State. He was actually Young Berg's engineer before
Got you.
Young Berg turned to Hitmaker.
Yeah,
And I remember like being in sessions there. I remember being in North Hollywood at the studio. Um, I remember like working with just different people, and we started building like this catalog. Now, at this point, I'm writing and stretching my writing. I'm diving into more like top 40s pop type music,
yeah,
like R&B, top 40s pop. Um, I was still writing hip hop hooks, but these were songs that we were writing just for like hip hop artists at the time, like trying to
yeah.
shout to like Rick Ross, just like what's this other guy's name?
So like
This
singing hooks for them or rapping hooks too?
like singing hooks,
Oh, got you. Okay,
singy like witty swaggy hooks that they could use and try to like
got you.
whatever.
Yeah,
But with my
or build
project,
around the song. Build you give them the hook, and
yeah,
they will write their verses, but it'd be built around that song.
yeah,
Basically, yeah,
we were shopping stuff, and
got
working
you.
with that producer, like we had some like things we thought was going to be wins. Like one of the records I wrote went to Britney Spears camp, one went to Jason Derulo's camp. Like we were
Dope,
really trying to cook. I got a chance to meet Lainey Stewart. Lainey
dope. Okay,
Stewart wanted to work with me and my producer at the time. He wanted to sign us to his writing team at one
yeah.
point. And then we built this catalog, and this one particular A&R we work with, he ended up going to Universal with the
Mm,
catalog and presented it. It was like, yo, we got this dope R&B pop artist. These are his records.
yeah.
And the report came back. He was like, yo, they want to sign you. They're gonna
Oh,
draft. They're gonna
wow.
drive paperwork. Gonna try to make a deal happen over here. So
Yeah.
now I'm like, let's go. And then like I'm hosting clubs in Hollywood and all of that stuff. It all was like it all
It's
felt
on
like this,
going
right?
up. Yeah.
Now, and the music was nothing faith based, anything. I was just talking about relationship stuff, girl stuff, single stuff, party stuff, all of that. So, deal fell through. Like we got report back, like not really interested. And people start ghosting. We didn't really hear anything back from people anymore. It's
Dang.
like that was that. It was a wash. So,
Yeah.
like for me to get excited again, I was just like, this is like exhausting. Personally, I was dealing with stuff too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like family stuff, like things with my relationship at the time, like,
Yeah.
all types of things. I was thinking this is gonna be the win.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was crazy. And this is the pivotal moment now because
Yeah.
I'm in LA and I'm just like, all right, like what I'm gonna do. I remember I called my mom, and my mom would always say, you need to pray. You need to ask God where to guide you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm praying. So I prayed, man, and then like weeks later, one of my songwriters, he needed to ride to church because he actually played drums too. So he
Yeah.
needed to
Yeah.
ride to his church. He was in some situation. He was like, "Yo, bro, you can give me a ride to church." So I'm like, "Yeah, like let's go." And I'm in my mind, I'm like, "Well, let me just go and attend service."
Yeah. Yeah.
Because homie need to ride back to the valley anyway.
Yeah.
So I tell everybody, yeah, like I wasn't gonna just pull up skirt and then, all right,
Yeah.
bro, like he's gonna call me back, yo, bro, you can take me back up because where we
Yeah.
lived was in the San Fernando Valley, but his church was by LAX, so you got to go down to 405 for like 40 minutes to
Oh,
get there.
wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was far, so
Yeah.
I stayed for church, man. And when I got into this church, I was seeing black brothers in the church, like dudes that you know looked like they was from the hood.
Yeah.
Um, Small church, but like there was so much love in the church. When I walked in, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Thank you for coming to
Yeah.
service. Hey, man, you want to sit here? You want to sit there? Met the pastor. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Pastor
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Derek Fields there, and the church is called Life Changing Word.
Gotcha.
And man, that day, pastor preached this sermon, and it was like God was talking directly to me. And I know we hear that a lot. Like
Wow.
people go to church, you get the
Yeah. Yeah.
cliche,
Yeah. Yeah.
God was speaking to me, he was on my heart.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like God was talking to me through that sermon. And when it was altar call, man, I went up there and I was just like, okay, Lord, like just take it. Because here's the thing, you know, the Bible talks about raising a child the way that they should go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my mom did her best to do that.
Yeah.
And also talks about them not straying.
Yeah.
So even though I'm going through all this stuff and I'm like away from God, church, all of that, like there was
Yeah.
still pieces in me, parts of me that knew I got to get connected with God. I got to get
Got
back.
you.
I
Got
got to
you.
get back in this because what I'm doing, I'm really tripping. And when I mean I'm
Yeah.
really tripping, like back home in New York, like we had our weed man. You call him, yo, bro, let me get a dime bag. Let me get a dub.
Yeah.
Like out in Cali, you can do the same thing for cocaine. I
Oh,
had a
wow.
We had guys come to the section. Yo,
Wow.
you'll come through. And it was like he had to pay to get in the club. Like the club knew he was coming to drop
Yeah.
off an order.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah. Like it was a delivery.
these are the types of things I was involved in.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was
Yeah.
one time for Halloween, I went to a rave. I dressed up like a zombie. I I popped Molly that day. I was drinking on my way there, and when I left, we went to a house party when I smelled like 4 or 5 blunts
Wow.
and did a line. So I'm
Wow.
saying like God was trying to save my life,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if I would have continued in that way, I wouldn't have had that moment at that time
Yeah. Yeah.
to be there for him, for his spirit to pour out on me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, man. So from that point, it was like, okay, I got to change some stuff up.
Yeah.
And it was hard, man. People fell off. It was a pruning process of like turning down like club hostings and
Yeah.
turning down like certain shows and different things. And I had to really
Yeah.
like dig in to God's word and what he's called me to do and called me to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
and it was a disciple first. It was a man
Yeah.
of God first.
Yeah.
And man, the conversation came up about music again, like, yo, why don't you do Christian music? And I'm like,
Even though, okay, let's be fair. Even though there's people out there like the Mary Marys of the world, those that's incorporating R&B
mm-hmm,
to their sound. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? I
yeah,
don't know if you knew about Canton back then, but like
mm-hmm,
Canton Jones and all these different R&B
yeah.
hybrids of gospel, even Kirk to a certain extent. That didn't pique your interest, like, yo, maybe I could do something to that notice.
Well, I also didn't have like the traditional gospel voice.
Got you.
So, and I
Okay.
knew that. So
Okay.
it was also like the fears of not being received vocally, and
Yeah.
also because of I'm not churched. So
Got
it
you.
was like
Got
it
you.
was
Got you.
discouraging. It was
Got
like,
you.
man, I ain't going, I don't want to put myself through that. But the church that I was at, man, they literally just poured into me, man. They invited me to sing on the praise team.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that.
Yeah.
And I was able to understand worship in that sense.
Yeah.
And the conversation came up with music again. It was like, you know Lord, what am I going to do with this music? And it
Mm.
was just like, do music the way I called you to do it. you know just do it the way I call you to do it.
Yeah.
And at that point it was like, okay, Lord, well, let me do you hear that dog barking? You hear my dog
Yeah.
barking?
Yeah. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Yeah.
she
Go.
she got to go out. She's going a little crazy.
Yeah.
Let me just text my wife real quick. Almost done there. But yeah, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, Lord, let me create it how I'm creating it, because I'm still doing like R&B styles, pop
Yeah.
styles.
Yeah.
I was even into EDM at this point and
Yeah.
infusing it all. But let
Yeah.
me make sure the message is the message of faith. Let me talk about how you showed up in my life, and
Yeah.
in hope that it inspires people. I didn't really care about numbers. I didn't care about, you know, being a charting artist at that point. I didn't really care about where I was as an artist. I just wanted to deliver something that would
Yeah.
make change.
Yeah.
So I came up with this acronym. I came up with the word AWOL. It was like a download in my spirit. It's called AWOL.
Yeah.
And so, God gave me the word AWOL,
Mm-hmm.
and then I acronymed it for another way of living. And it was like, first of all, AWOL is, you go in AWOL from the formation, like you're doing something different, like you
Yeah.
going crazy. And it was a play on everything that I knew about what I learned, um, about how I should be, what I should be doing,
Yeah.
all of that
Yeah.
stuff, all the
Yeah.
things I was already involved in, even down to the sound choice. Like I was like, man, I'm going to do this like EDM, R&B, hip hop infused project. So it just touches a wide span of people.
Yeah.
And guess what? The message is going to be a message of faith.
Yeah.
And I came up with the EP project called AWOL.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it didn't do a whole lot of numbers and all of that stuff, but every time someone listened to it, like they were impacted
Got
and
you.
inspired. And that was a signification to me that, okay, I need to stay here.
Got
I
you.
need to stay here in
Got you.
this space. And once I decided to say, okay, God, well, I'm gonna give this to you, it was like a whole world opened up of like being able to create freely as a artist in the Christian space,
Got you.
faith-based space, man. And from
Yeah.
there, like it took its own journey, you
Yeah.
know. So that's that's
Wow.
that's why I can stop from there. But that was a pinnacle moment in my life and career. When I look hindsight and everything that I dealt with from, you know, starting my journey um, in high school and college and all of that
Yeah.
stuff, it's like everything was like a chain link that tapped on to the next link, to the next link, to the next thing, to the next
Yeah.
thing, to the next thing,
Yeah.
all to be at that church one day to create to hear God speak to me. And then
Wow.
even to creating what I did with the project for that one person to hear it, to say, man, I got to give my life to Christ. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's all
Yeah.
intertwined.
Yeah.
Um, and the thing that I would never regret about my journey is that I've been on both sides. Like,
Mm.
I've been the hood dude in the gang fighting people. Like, I've ran for my life before. Like, I've come from, situations where there was like substance abuse in my
Yeah.
home. I never met my real father. Like, you know,
Mm.
I dealt with things like, losing my virginity early,
Yeah.
you know, what that brings, and, the scares of almost getting people pregnant and all
Yeah.
of that stuff. Like, I've
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
dealt
Yeah.
that, and but then I also went to school, like, went to college, and
Yeah.
trying to figure that out. I went through like trying to figure church, and I went through the whole partying, turning up,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the maximum degree. Like,
Yeah.
I've been through the upsets, I've been through the trials, I've been through a ton of stuff, and people say, thank God you don't look like what you've been through.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thanking God I don't, like, look,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be looking
Yeah.
crazy right now.
Yeah.
But so I've been through a ton of things, and for me to be able to be at this spot, like, now I'm at a place where, like, I know I can speak to certain things, not just because I'm like thinking about it, but it's like
Yeah.
I've been there, bro. Like, I've been right where you are right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and for the people that are more heavy in church, like, I I I I pour out from a different place.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's music, and I even today I also lead worship at my church today,
Yeah.
and it's a different vigor that you need.
Yeah.
Um, I try to allow God to speak to me as much as possible, even in that space, in that service with church.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So, but that day, a life changing word, that day
Wow. Change
changed
everything.
changed it all.
Wow. And
Yeah, man.
man, I want to say, like, sometimes what you think that your life should be, God has something so much better. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
I think something like, even as a Christian, sometimes you may think, if I go this path, God, and honestly, it's sometimes when you doing your own thing, and you know how
Mm-hmm.
people do their own thing and they want to add God on, and
Mm-hmm.
God could be like, no, I want you to go this path. And
Yeah.
and once you realize those paths, even like you said, intertwine with each other, because sooner or later, God is gonna, like, even if you're trying to do your own thing, God's gonna be pull you back. And
We're gonna
once he
route you
pull
right
you
back.
back, yeah, and write you back into where he always wanted you to be. And I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes, man, hearing your story, which was an amazing story, bro,
Mm,
hearing
blessings.
it's one of those things where it's like, you were gonna come to God eventually.
Mm-hmm.
You was gonna come to the Lord eventually. And I think sometimes you may have your
Yeah.
mom. She was probably praying. She was probably like
Mm-hmm.
praying
Yeah.
for you, like, God,
Yeah.
keep my son out in LA. Keep him.
Mm.
Bring him to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So at the end of the day, man, an amazing story, bro.
Mm.
Um, just was a very good joint, man. And
Yeah.
before we get out of here, I wanted to ask you some back and forth questions. But
Yeah, for
man,
sure.
but like my last question before we get into that is,
Yeah.
what, like, how did you end up like where you are now? Like, talk about your
Mm-hmm.
project now, and how did you end up going from LA to Atlanta, real quick?
Yeah, yeah, I'll tap into that, man. So in LA, at the time, like, it was the support from the church, but there weren't really a lot of Christian outlets that I was exposed to
Yeah,
that was doing what I was trying to do.
got you.
Um, so in some spaces it was received, it was cool.
Yeah,
In some spaces it wasn't, for some
yeah,
people. And I didn't really care about the cool factor, but it was also like, all right, Lord, like, I want to be able to make the impact, like, and if this is
yeah,
where I'm at, then this is where I'm at.
yeah,
I got with a management team at one point, and they kind of mentioned to me, like, we think that you would be better in a different space. So I said, okay. And it's funny because at that time, like I felt like God was also calling me out of California. Like I felt
Gotcha.
like, no, I was like, I think I'm here too long. Like I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
Lord, I'm feeling like there's something else
Yeah.
that you want me to do. And prayed and fasted about it, and it was clear, like, okay, I need to get out of California.
Yeah.
To the point that he even provided the funds for me to get out of California.
Wow.
Like something
Wow.
that you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got into a car accident one year, and then we had to do the whole legal stuff, and then like check hit next year. You know
Oh,
what I mean? So it was like,
wow. Wow.
so
Wow.
it
Okay.
was like, hey, okay, well, you provided this. This is what you call me to do. Um, I went to a worship service, and the pastor prophesied over me. He was like, God's telling me that you got a big move coming up. And I remember I prayed and asked God, Lord, if you're calling me to move out of California, I pray wherever I go that there is provision, um, and everything is laid out. Because
Yeah.
doing another reset is gonna be really hard. So
Yeah.
I just pray that everything's laid out for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like she's going crazy right now. She is not stopping. I
You
don't want
good,
to,
bro?
and I don't want your audio to be like rah, 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 rah,
Yeah.
rah, the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
time.
It's raw and uncut. It's raw and uncut.
Oh my goodness, raw and uncut, man. If y'all hear this dog, this new puppy we got, she downstairs going crazy.
Yeah.
But it was it was one of those things, man. It was like, okay, Lord, I just wanted to be provided for. So
Yeah.
what ended up happening was they said, yo, I think you need to maybe look at some, like, maybe hit the Bible Belt. Seems like Atlanta could be a spot for you, or
Yeah.
and things like that. And I was like, prayed about Atlanta. Like I said, the pastor kind of said, hey man, you got a big move coming up, and God's telling me to let you know that this is provided for. So I'm like, even that, because when I went to this worship service, I wasn't supposed to go. I just happened to be in the neighborhood, and I was like, all right, well, let me stop by.
Yeah.
Went, got my ticket, sat in it. I'm like in the back too, like I'm not even anywhere where
Up front.
anyone
Yeah. Yeah.
where anyone could even see me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a white sweater on,
Yeah.
and he's worshiping. They're playing the songs. His name's Pastor Chad Brown, and he goes, hold on, God's talking to me right now. There's a young man in here, and I got that little unction. I was like, is he about to say something about me? That there's a young man in here. He's over there. He got a white t-shirt or sweater or something. So I'm
Wow.
like, and people next to me looking at me like, looking at me like, they're like, come up here, wherever you're at, young man, come up here.
Wow.
So I walk up there, and I'm just like, what are you about to say?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know you, and you don't know me, right?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know you, like I don't know you from Adam. And he's like, this your first time coming to one of our events? I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, God is telling me something. He said, God is telling me that you got a big move coming up. And I was like, what? Like it's those moments like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So God is telling me you got a big move coming up. He's like, he wants me to tell you that whatever you got going on is provided for. So say yes and go.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm worshiping God, just like praising him. And yeah, man, like a month later the check hit.
Wow.
Even in that season, like I met my now wife. Like we were virtual. We met virtual, and that's like a whole nother story for another day. Yeah. So we virtually, and it was just like, man, like I know my future wife is in Atlanta. Like this place you're sending me is, possibly for where you want me to be in my career is in Atlanta. Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Even in me saying yes, man, like doors open up at like TBN. They had this TV station called Juice TV that was through
Oh yeah.
TBN.
Juice TV. Yeah, I remember
So
that.
I had a song called Close Up that I released, and I ended up meeting someone at TBN that was over Juice TV.
Yeah.
And I was literally trying to give them a resource for something they were trying to do. Because that's another thing too. Like I'm on the music side creatively, but like I'm a business guy too on the other side too. Like I will help set up certain situations.
Yeah.
I do consultants with certain artists.
Yeah.
Like I set up distributions. I do, publishing stuff, all of it.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to set him up, and he was like, I heard your new song Close Up. He says it's pretty good, man. Are you doing any visuals for it or anything? And I was like, well, I might. I just depends on budget at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, cool. And then like a week later, he sent me an email. They wanted to shoot. They shot the full music video for it and
Wow.
premiered it on Juice TV and TV and made a whole
That's
premiere for it.
crazy. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy
so I'm
work.
like, oh, like okay, Lord. So yeah, man, I go to
Yeah.
Atlanta, man. I met up with ended up meeting Doc Watson in the process.
Okay.
Because I was also fishing out like, well, who's over there? Like, if I want to
Yeah.
do music like this, who can I get connected with that can help support? So me and Doc Watson, like, we was on the phone last night. Like, he's my guy, man. We work on a lot of
Yeah.
stuff together. And I'm meeting like some of the people from Rapzilla, and it was cool to be in a space where there's a similar mindset where
Yeah. Yeah.
people are trying to do things differently. So this
Yeah.
is when I started to get into like Christian hip hop.
Yeah.
And even in the Christian hip hop space, I noticed some things. I noticed what I needed to notice and learn
Yeah. Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the industry and that move.
Yeah.
And I kind of became like the hook guy because there was no space for Christian R&B. But
Yeah.
I still did what I did,
Yeah.
and I still released my projects. And over time, you know, more opportunities came.
Yeah.
I started to get plugged in with just different organizations like GMA, Recording
Yeah.
Academy, and just continue to just like do it.
Yeah.
Now, this project chemistry came about because I had an opportunity to work with someone who wanted to like fully fund a project for me,
Wow.
set me up with producers and all of that, and then they went ghost.
Oh
So
wow.
I'm familiar with that. Like I know what that. Oh, okay, cool. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
okay, cool. And even prior to that, like I had an opportunity to work with an A&R at RCA Inspiration at one point,
Oh wow.
but the problem then was that their roster was just too heavy on gospel. They wasn't trying to take a chance on anything R&B because
Yeah.
I was sending them records and it was like, I'm like, man, what are we gonna do? So
Yeah.
we kind of chilled on that. But to fast forward too, man, it was just like, all right, man, this is the last time anybody's ghosted me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, I'm gonna work on something authentically to talk about the season that I'm in, just testimony, share a story. I'm gonna do this
Yeah.
project. I brought my wife into the project. She writes too, so she putting some pen on the project, and even she's great at planning. So she helped me actually plan it.
Dope.
Um,
Dope.
hey, like this month, like, did you finish this record? Okay, move it to process. This needs to be mixed now. Like, she really helped me
Yeah.
to get it done and packaged.
Yeah.
I talked to Doc and I was like, yo, Doc, I want to do an R&B project, right? Like, because here's the thing, like, I'm I'm a believer in Christ. I love R&B. I love Christian music, but I also love, what I'm saying? Like, I love like what R&B has done, and I love R&B. I love the
Yeah.
feels and tones of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like, all right, you know what? Let me just share something that's real and authentic. Because
Yeah.
what I didn't want to do was try to force, like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, try to force something like this. Like, this would be the record, right? And then
Yeah.
I'm trying to like force like this. Like, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
message. I'm like, all right, Lord, I can't do it that way.
Yeah.
Show me how to do it so where I can share my story. You still get glory from it. Um, it's dope. It resonates,
Yeah.
and I work with like one or two producers. Work with my guy Kamo Shamal, who's like my boy. We write on a
Okay.
lot of stuff. And man, we put the project together. We released it, and I'm really proud of this project because it's authentic, it's real. You connect to it, and it's not like your typical Christian R&B project.
Got you.
It's
Got you.
living. It can live in both spaces.
Yeah.
It can live in Christian. Like, actually, some records got on playlists on Christian playlists.
Yeah.
Some even got on the R&B playlist
Oh wow. Wow.
only. So my message is really catered for the person that is like dealing with like just real life stuff, and
Yeah.
not all negative stuff either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think in your walk, like when I first started doing Christian music, I was at a certain place in my walk. I was very like zealous, on fire, like,
Yeah.
and God has taken me through some things where it's not that, it's more mature,
Yeah.
But it's also understanding that, like there's people out here that don't know what a church looks like. There's people
Yeah.
out here that, are turned
Yeah.
off by certain things. There's people out here
Yeah.
that, only you are going to reach with
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
And I've used that and leveraged that to share God's light.
Yeah.
Man, it's opened up many conversations that I have with people just because I'm
Dope.
not trying to be,
Yeah. Yeah.
like this Christian guy. It's like, no, I'm just being,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's something that I'm seeing the fruits from,
Yeah. Dope,
so
man. Dope, bro.
man, that's a
That's
lot.
dope.
I talk a lot. I'm a talking machine, bro. I'll be talking a lot.
I'm a listener. I've been praying like, God, help me listen. So that you're a talker, listen. Amen.
Talking.
All right, bro. Let's get to this real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So this or that.
This or that. Okay.
All right. Jones Beach
Okay.
or Robert Moses Beach?
Jones Beach.
Okay. Union Dell. I'm going to mess this name up. Or Wine Dance for the best cookouts.
Uniondale. Wine Dance is crazy out there. It's crazy out there. You get shot.
All right. Roosevelt Field Mall or Green Acres Mall?
For what? For what though?
To buy whatever you want to buy something. If you want to buy clothes.
Roosevelt Field Mall.
Okay.
Field. Yeah.
All right. Writing songs for others or songs for yourself? Writing songs for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I like writing songs for others.
Okay.
But I also like writing songs for myself too.
Okay.
Because it comes from my perspective. But
got you.
If it's for you too, cool.
Okay, cool. You got a collaboration. You want a rap collaboration on your project, right?
A rap collaboration.
Rap.
Okay.
A rap.
Okay.
Yeah, hip hop. William Carter or Kid Lee?
I work with both of them.
Yeah. But you got to choose. I forgot to tell you I forgot to tell you.
It's
my
crazy.
bad. I forgot to tell you. If you can't choose, if you say both, then my only request is that you got to share the gospel with somebody if you say both at anything. So I forgot that next one. So
I said William Carter or Kid Lee.
Or Kid Lee. If you had to choose,
it'll be William Carter.
Okay.
We gotta give him that New York, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, no problem. Confidence or authenticity?
Hit me with it. Man, those are both vibey records, man. They both hit too.
Yeah.
I'll say Confidence.
Okay. Confidence. AWOL EP or Chemistry?
Chemistry, man. Chemistry. Let's go.
Okay. If you had to explain your style of music to somebody, would you say one or the other? Music for your soul or God plus R&B?
I would say music for your soul, because your soul belongs to God. So let it come through R&B.
Okay. Do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
I'll say music for the soul, though.
Got you. All right. Jordan Armstrong or Stevie Rizzo?
Why y'all trying to do this, man? I hope if they see this, I hope they don't, hit me up, man. Jordan Armstrong or Stevie Rizzo?
Yeah. You can say both, man. You can just say both. We talked about it earlier. You can say both.
No, I'm gonna say both because in like 2 years, I want to do a project with them. I want them to be mad at me. So I'm saying
got you. Okay. All right, my last one. Are you a Christian R&B singer? Or are you an R&B singer who is Christian? This is my last one. Which one?
I knew you was gonna come over there and say that. Man, I'm gonna say that. I was raised on R&B.
Yeah.
And I come to love the Lord.
Yeah.
And because of that, I want to be able to share that journey, share that testimony, and be able to share life that way.
Yeah.
And I think if you go the other label or you go the other way, then people only expect a certain thing from you. You box yourself.
Gotcha.
Where you can be sharing so much more about your walk as a person who loves and believes in Jesus in Christ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm an R&B who loves Jesus.
Okay, R&B
I'm
singer
an
who is
R&B
Christian.
singer who is Christian.
Got you.
100%.
Thank you so much, bro. Hey, man, promote yourself, promote what you got going on, and give them your socials.
Yeah, so man, I just dropped a new album called Chemistry. I want it to resonate with its listeners. Make sure y'all go and check that out. From front to back, man, it's been a blessing to create. So you guys can check that out. It's on all DSPs. Just find my name is the first project that's there, and you guys can connect with me at Kennis Clark. So that's KennisClark on all socials as well. So we'd love to see you. We'd love to connect with you.
All right, man. That's it. Exclusive interview with Kennis Clark. Was killer. I was a listener. I didn't ask a lot of questions, but I was a listener, and I hope you were good listening to it. His story was amazing. So I didn't have a lot of questions. You was answering the questions as I was going. So yeah, bro, it was a good time, bro. I'm enjoying it. All right, Kingdom citizens, we are out. Kingdom Ox on every platform, and we are out.